What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Hoops All In. If you guys are new, don't forget to follow us on YouTube at Hoops All In. Follow us on our social media platforms at Hoops All In on Instagram, TikTok, and X. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, as I said. And don't forget to check out, subscribe to Keith's YouTube channel at Keith HAI. He does good work over there. So yeah, we are pretty much just wrapped up game 6 of the NBA finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers, and now officially all tied up after the Pacers just dismantled the Thunder 108-91. The box score was not as close as the game seemed. We will have game 7 on Sunday, the two greatest words in sports history. It all comes down to this: the final game of the regular season. For all the marbles, winner take all. Keith, what was your thoughts on the overall game 6, and especially how the Pacers played when they started off slow and they just blew the Thunder right out the door?
Yeah, this was a really strange, the first quarter, the Pacers, they started the game 0 for 8. Like they couldn't hit anything. They were 0 for 8, and then they went up at one point. It was like 24-17 they were up, and they shot 8 for 10 in that span. And then they ended the quarter 0 for 6. So they literally had they started as bad as you can get, then they got to about as good as you can get, and then by the end of the first quarter they went back to bad. So by the first quarter, it wasn't really out of, it was 28-25, Pacers were up 3.
Mhm.
The second quarter is where you really get to the game, really look at the game, and you are like, damn, bro, what happened? They end the first half up 20. Um, I mean, the amount of turnover, there were OKC had 12 turnovers in the first half, while Indiana only had 2. OKC didn't have a single steal. They only had 2 points off turnovers and only 3 bench points, while the Pacers had 16 points off turnovers and 19 bench points. Never mind the 3-point shooting where you OKC shoots 1 for 11 and Indiana is 9 for 24. You've made 8 less threes than a team in the first half already. You're lucky you were only down 20 by that point. With the way,
Mhm.
because the Pacers were playing, it straight up looked like these teams swapped. Like the idea, like Indiana was forcing turnovers, was running. That is what we've seen OKC do against everybody. OKC wasn't doing that. They it was just awful, and I was expecting them to come out of the first half and to give a little swing. Um, and then both teams went almost 4 minutes without scoring when the third quarter started.
Mhm.
So it was like, man, I mean, I told my dad when we were watching, I'm like, you know what? They're down 20, but I'm not gonna say it's over. I'm gonna watch. And then it got to 30. Ben Shepherd hit a crazy three to end the third quarter, everything like that.
Mhm.
The and they went up 30, but the Thunder didn't get anything from anybody. I mean, the first half, J Dub had 16, Shea had 15. Only 5 players had scored for OKC in the first half, and 2 of them were players, um, or one of them was off the bench. So one of their starters didn't even score. Again, they only had 3 bench points. But when J Dub and Shea are giving you 31 of your 42 points in the first half, that's not it's not gonna work. You're not gonna win a game like that. It was so bad that I recorded my own video at the start of the fourth quarter. I didn't even let the game finish. But it was bad. I mean, Indiana, they forced game 7. The way you want to do it, you don't want to win game 6 by a hair or maybe even in overtime. And OKC feels good, and they're like, okay, we were this close. You really put the pressure on OKC, saying we just had maybe the ugliest game of our entire playoff run, maybe of our entire season. Um, and now they're going into the biggest game of all those players' young careers, except maybe Alex Caruso. But Alex Caruso, this finals now means more than the Lakers ones because they didn't go 7.
Mhm.
So, and this is the first. I told you this right before we started. This is the first game 7 of an NBA Finals series we've seen since the 2016 Cavs. It's been almost a decade since we have seen a game 7 in the NBA finals. And I pray it's a good game and it is not a blowout for either team.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the Thunder started off the game really hot. They, I think, were 8 of 10. No, excuse me. The Pacers started off the game really slow. They were like
Hmm.
12-8. They couldn't buy a basket, and then all of a sudden they started making shots left and right. 8 of 10. The thing what killed the Thunder is the turnovers. You're not going to win any game scoring having 21 total turnovers to teams 11, and then especially the fast break points. 22 in favor, 22 fast break points for the Pacers, 11 in total. When you're
Yeah.
not making your 3-point shots, they shot 8 of 30 from the field, especially two. They only had, this is the total assists, they only had 14 total assists as a team. Shea was playing too much one-on-one ISO basketball, trying to be the hero. J Dub again trying to be a hero as well, even though he had 40 points the last game. But you just saw them. It's like, okay, when the Pacers got on the run, it looked like the Thunder kind of threw in the towel. And this is the team that you do not want to give any momentum to. We
No.
saw time and time again in this postseason alone how dangerous they are. You give this team an inch, they're gonna take a mile. Okay. And I said this before we started this video. This is one team, the Indiana Pacers. I am kind of worried for the Thunder in this game 7. I understand, the lore of winning it at home in front of your fans is pretty much a parade within a parade. But if you want to identify yourself as a true champion, have that championship DNA, you close out no matter if you're on the road or at home. And you
Yeah.
get momentum is a very dangerous thing, especially in the NBA. With this team and how they've been playing this postseason, this right here is very, very, they're on treacherous water right now. Okay.
Hmm.
But no, like I said, I'll put my money on the person I put my money on is league MVP. But you talk about 108-91. The largest lead of the game was 31. Indiana. They just blew them out the water.
Hmm.
Pacers, the Thunder kept turning the ball over and over and over. Um, I just don't know what to make of it. And the funny thing is, the Thunder shot a better free throw percentage than the Pacers.
Yeah.
And
Right.
OKC just went to the free throw line just one more time, but they still shot a better free throw percentage. But yeah, I think you see, you look at how Chet Holmgren played. He didn't have a good game. Talk about Chet, third best player on the team, 4 points, didn't make a three, 2 of 9 from the field. Talk about Jalen Williams as well too. After he had that 40-point explosion, he only gives you 18 points. I mean, 18 points is
Mhm.
nothing to poo-poo at, but you go from 40 to 18. As I mentioned again, SGA was doing way too much hero ball.
Mhm.
21 points. He's known for at least getting you 30.
Right.
This is the thing with the Pacers. It's the balanced scoring. You got Siakam, 16. In the beginning of the game, he looked like he was possessed. I don't know if they did some type of, black magic before, but his
Mhm.
eyes were on the back of his head. You
Yeah.
know he's going to have a good game. Neesmith, again, comes in with his defense, was all in the mug, was all in the space of SGA. He is a pest defensively. But the key unsung hero of that game is TJ
100.
McConnell. You cannot just look at the box score and says, oh, well, TJ only had 12 points and played 24 minutes. No, the
Mhm.
steals that he had a couple of steals. He's a pest defensively. He draws, offensive fouls and stuff like that. He is the heartbeat of the Indiana Pacers, especially when the Pacers lost game 6 and Rick Carlisle took TJ McConnell out. And I think he put Tyrese Halliburton back in, and Halliburton couldn't even buy a basket.
Yeah.
He was like what 0-4 from the field, didn't score a field goal. And so
Yeah.
that's the time you gotta roll with your hot hand. I understand, you gotta stick with your best players, but when your bench players, your reserves are playing that good and they're outperforming your best player, you go with the hot hand. And so if this is my opinion, if the Pacers come back and win this NBA Finals in 7 against the Thunder, it's gonna be between either Pascal Siakam or TJ McConnell that wins Finals MVP, because you can't just look at the box score and says, well, 12 points, 9 points. TJ, no, look at what he does on the film. He affects the game, both offensive, defense, especially when he has the basketball. He's changing pace. He's like, all right. Then you have Pacers that like to run. He's gonna run and gun it. You like to slow it down. He'll slow it down. Hey, what you need, coach? You need a couple offensive fouls? Cool. You need a couple of steals? Cool. You need a couple block shots? Cool. He is legit a game changer for his size. And shout out to TJ, man. But yeah, like I said, I would not be surprised if the Pacers win this in 7. This is one team you do not want to give any ounce of momentum for at all. At all.
Yeah. Can I ask you, and this might be thrown on you, but like if OKC loses, where are you pointing the finger? Because I have my answer. And you talked to him before. I'll say my answer. Um, Chet Holmgren.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you cannot be like he is young for sure. This is only his second year he's played. He missed his whole first rookie year. He missed a good part of this year with whatever he heard earlier. But I mean, these stats do not include this six game except for one thing, and I'll get to that. But I mean, 13 points, 9 rebounds, and one block. You like you can legitimately get that from Hartenstein. You can get that from somebody else. Like you Chet Holmgren is supposed to be one of the most versatile bigs in the game. He's supposed like where he can stretch the floor. He can do a little bit of ball handling. He's one of the best shot blockers in the game at theory, but that is horrible. And then this is the one stat that is counting this game that I did. His 3-point percentage, do you want to guess what his 3-point percentage is in this finals?
I'm gonna say it's probably around 20 something percent.
11.
Wow.
He is 2 for
Wow.
17 from 3 in the finals.
Jesus.
Um and
Mm.
if I'm being honest, his field goal percentage, again, this isn't counting because I didn't do the math. I did the math for the 3.1, but like 37% from the field as a 7 foot
7-1,
whatever
yeah.
center, 37% and 11% from three. You're playing 31 minutes a game. You're supposed to be the second, third player, and he had a good regular season. I thought he for sure would have been an all-star and an all-defensive team player. But when you talk about these contracts, and I had a clip that I made talking about contracts with all the second apron and stuff. Chet Holmgren's a guy. I'm not just giving him that 200 plus million whatever. If I'm OKC, as much as I love him, like, and I think he can be there, he's got to show me some consistency. Because man, like he could give you a 28, 12, 4 block game, or he could do
Hmm.
this where he ends with 4 points, 4 rebounds, and like 2 turnovers, and it's like I'm getting that. The Pacers got that from their third string center and Tony Bradley tonight. What do you know about Tony
Yeah.
Bradley?
Not much.
For
Not much.
real, like I mean, that is where I'm pointing my finger.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like you said, you can't be 7'1" and getting under 8 rebounds a game and only scoring 4 points a game, especially in a crucial game 6. You're the second, third best player on the team. That's not where they're gonna pay you in excess of $250 million, if not more, to be. Me and you could get more production than Chet
Mhm.
Holmgren is. And then we could be honest with you, Isaiah Hartenstein is outperforming Chet Holmgren this entire finals. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and he came off the bench for the first few games.
Yeah. So that's that. So if they do end up losing this finals, yeah, you have to look at the blame at Chet Holmgren. And I would say again, the crucial key moments too against with SGA. Again,
Mhm,
30 points every single game besides game 6, we get it. NBA league MVP. But when you have to look again, we watched the game. There's times where he's just trying to do too much. And you
mhm,
had a lot of, especially Richard Jefferson said on the broadcast, these guys are young. So they're like, okay, Pacers going on a run. So now it's like, all right, give me the ball. Let me try to, get this team
right,
out of it. It's like, yo, now you're just putting your team in a bigger hole. There was two to three straight possessions where they gave SGA the man of the ball, led to turnover, missed shot. You don't have control of your game. Let the game come to you. Relax. We understand basketball is a game of runs. The team is going to make a run, but it's how you react in calm situations that shows your true leadership. And I haven't seen it. I mean, I've seen it. Obviously, again, he came back with the Denver Nuggets series down 2-1. But
mhm,
when you see a team making a run, when you do stupid stuff like that, it's like, okay, is he really ready to be a champion? Because you have to have those championship characteristics. It's okay, guys, don't worry about it. Make a run. Give me the ball. Let me calm down and set everybody up, make a play, or trust your teammates. You have J Dub again, I believe, who was second team all NBA this year. He is a great player. Give him the basketball. For J Dub to only have 13 shot attempts, he should be at least shooting 20.
mhm,
You know what I mean? So, like I said, I get it. Some people saying, hey, the Thunder just wanted to win on their home court because of the excitement, the lore, the fans going crazy. It's two parades in one, but you do not want to mess around with this team. If you have a chance to close it on the road, it's not going to be as exciting. you do it because anything can happen in game 7. You are one rolled ankle away, one torn ACL, one torn Achilles, one injury to your main guys on one of your key reserves that drastically changes your chances of winning a championship like that. And that's something you do not want to mess around. So we'll see what's gonna happen. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm confident in OKC because I think they're 18 and they have an 18-2 record after they lose a game. Obviously, again, we saw how they came back against the Denver Nuggets.
Hmm.
But like I said, I do not. I'm very wary against this Pacer team.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
I mean, if you like, there's some glaring holes like from the OKC from this game. Like the first of all, the assist difference. Like Indiana, of course, has one of the best playmakers in the game of Halliburton, but like they're just not getting. OKC doesn't score off of assists. Like it's either J Dub or it's Shea trying to ISO. Occasionally you right, like you get the Ludor three, you get the Chet three, you get the pick and roll with Hartenstein, but like Shea had 21. Obviously, he didn't play a lot in the fourth, but 21, 2 assists, 8 turnovers. Like, I mean, J Dub was a minus 40 in this game.
Yeah.
And then when you were talking about with the like OKC, they get, you know, I don't know if scared's the right word, but right, like Indiana goes on this run and OKC sees this and they're like, oh, the lead is growing, like it's a double-digit lead. And then they try and I've heard this from people before where it's like they try and get the game back in one possession. Right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they try and get this ridiculous, like Lou Dort, some of Lou Dort's threes, like a
Oh,
sidestep. I don't want to see Lou Dort doing a
yeah.
sidestep
No.
three.
No. No.
Lou Dort three or a Lou Dort three in the corner off of a driving kick is a good shot. Lou Dort has once upon a time Lou Dort was an awful 3-point shooter like early on in his career. Now he's one of the best 3-and-D guys. He made all defensive first team this year. But Lou Dort should not 1 for 5 from three, and he took at least 2 step back or side step
Mm-hmm.
threes. It's like you OKC just doesn't have the personnel to be shooting threes like that.
Yeah.
And those were just some things that on that side, it's like, damn, dude, I don't know. It's literally like these teams swapped.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. I'm picking OKC in 7. Even I like obviously they are the better team, even though they didn't look like it this game. But literally the main reason I'm picking is because of the home
Mm.
court advantage. Even
Yeah.
though we've seen both teams lose and win at home in this series, but I couldn't pick something else to um differ from these guys because this is something we haven't seen in this series. Is like a huge blowout like this, and it's something new. So I really don't know what to pick for Game 7 other than hey, OKC's got home court.
Mm. So you still a little hedging your bets there? You're like,
I mean,
or you still
I
you
am
still
going
riding?
OKC, but like
Okay.
if you came up here and said Pacers, there is not a damn thing I could say other than OKC has home court advantage.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, like I said, I'm still going with the Thunder, but the only way I see the Thunder winning Game 7 is they have to blow this team out the water.
Mhm.
It can't be a close game in the fourth quarter with like 5 minutes left to go because
Mhm.
I do not trust. It's not like I don't trust OKC. I don't trust anybody playing up against this team. So the
Yeah,
way for them, they're gonna have to come in first quarter, set the tone, and obliterate this team by 30.
yeah,
Make sure you give them no life. You suffocate the hell out of them and says no, no, no. You like you ever when you take a fish out of water start squirming, that's
mhm,
what you have to do to the Pacers. Make them bring James Johnson off the bench. You send a message early says nah, yeah, I ain't gonna have no life. But yeah, I mean, if I had to put my money, I'll put OKC in 7. But I'm gonna be it's fluid. I'm gonna see how the
yeah.
game
I'm
is.
not
If it's a
confident
blowout, yeah, it's not as strong. It's a vote of unconfidence right at this
in it.
moment in time.
100%. Right?
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Hoops All In. We will be watching the game 7 of the NBA Finals. As I mentioned, the two greatest words in sports, the whole winner take all. If you win, you'll crown an NBA champion and forever cement your legacy in the record book. So thanks again for tuning in to Hoops All In. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel at Hoops All In and follow us on our social media platforms at Hoops All In on Instagram, TikTok, and X. Follow and subscribe to Keith's personal YouTube channel at Keith HAI. Does good work over there. Don't forget to listen to the audio version of the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or wherever you stream your daily or weekly podcast. For Wells Francois, Keith Bazin signing off. We'll catch you guys next time for Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Take care, everybody. See you then.